Hey, this is Dad Random, and I am comparing expensive to cheap. I love it because there's nothing more that brings up cheap than comparing it to expensive. So here we go. So right now we are watching a video and hearing it with the native audio of both devices, the Canon G7X versus the SURFOLA action camera. We're talking very, very different. With making a comparison, does SURFOLA hang in there? Can you spend, say, 70 bucks and compare yourself to a camera that brand new, could cost you $1,000? And the answer is, I don't know. Can you tell? Look at them. Probably sound differences between the two you're going to hear right away. Canon has a very well-tested audio system, so it's picking up my voice and it's putting it in a pretty good vlogging, what I would consider to be good audio quality level. SURFOLA is probably going to sound a little more tinny to you, most likely because of the microphones built in to the system. Does audio matter when you're taking action video? Do you want to hear audio? So there's a lot of solutions for both of those things, but here we go. We're going to do a little test between SURFOLA and Canon. We've got a lot of exterior noise. We've got buzzing going on of air conditioners. We've got lawnmowers and all kinds of things that happen normally when we do vlogging work that you have to contest with. So a lot of fun. Let's have a little bit of fun and compare expensive to cheap. SURFOLA versus Canon. Can it do it? I think if it can hang in there, it makes a huge difference. Now I have equal EV. Both E values should be the same. I think it created a less okay. So let's get me overexposed again right there. There I am overexposed. Expensive camera versus inexpensive camera. SURFOLA action camera. And I'm going to go into the shade and stand. And SURFOLA versus Canon. Why not? You want to bark with the big dogs, then you got to freaking be compared to the big dogs. Let's see if I can get me centered there. It's kind of cool, actually. I think the 4K and the video quality on the cheap action cameras are getting better. The big thing is lenses, and the lens really changes everything. But SURFOLA is really holding its own. It has all of these doodads that come with pretty much all of the inexpensive cameras. These guys have had a history of car cameras, so they've gone from the dash camera to the action camera world. It's basically two-sided, so you can vlog with it. You can take it diving. Say you want to take a camera you don't want to, you're afraid to lose on a dive trip, or you're doing a little bit of snorkeling. Perfect for those vacation shots. But just for hanging out, what do you think? What do you think of the quality? I have no external audio playing at this point, so we're getting native audio from the G7X and the SURFOLA action camera. So both are side by side. So let's go in an overexposed sunny shot. Here I am now. I'm getting just blasted by the sun in front of this really pretty bush here. All right, let's go over here. Got the pinks in there. Let's get some color. Here's some texture right here. So here's a texture shot overexposed. And then let's go over here. We're gonna put ourselves, now we're in the shade, so this is much more conducive to good filming right here. All right, now we're into the shade. Do a little bit of, the sensors had to switch to the shade. All right, so SURFOLA versus Canon. Can you do it? It's kind of fun, actually. So I think this is fair, because if SURFOLA just hangs in there, Canon really, I think it brings it up a level instead of comparing it to another action camera. So all right, so for Dad Random, SURFOLA versus Canon. Can you do it? All right. SURFOLA, can it hang in there? If it can hang in there, that might be enough. You know, what do you risk with an expensive camera versus a cheap camera? You risk its loss, and you know, to lose $1,000 versus losing $50, you know, in the desert somewhere. That is something to take into consideration. The other one is, how bad do you need your audio? The other is, are you just having fun? Are you just recording video that you're sharing with somebody on social media? You've got all those things to take into consideration. So, all right, what do you think? So far, this is basically both cameras side by side in a set-like situation with controlled light. We've got plenty of light coming in here. Both cameras are set at a neutral EV. One of them is auto-focusing. The other one is probably infinity focusing. What do you think? Both of them have image stabilization in them. Both of them have touch screens. One is much older than the other. SURFOLA actually has had the advantage of several generations, actually several years of updates in software and in image quality. Probably the big difference you're going to notice right away is the lenses. Usually less expensive action cameras use less expensive lenses, and that's usually the difference. The other thing is the software and how the images are picked up, and the sensitivity of the sensor. So we're using all those things, and we're putting all those things into consideration when, you know, a camera is made. But kind of a cool example, isn't it? Looking at them side by side. The SURFOLA is very user-friendly. The menu is really easy for me to navigate, much easier than the first really expensive cameras that had all the click buttons. There was no touch screens. Early on, Canon, Sony, and the big camera companies added touch screens to their devices, and they still remain very competitive. It comes standard with it, a couple of batteries. I think with the Canon, you're going to get one battery. You can buy them for, they're not really expensive, but you're not going to get that in a case when you buy a expensive camera. They want you to buy lenses. They want you to buy all of those extra things. With the SURFOLA, you can buy all of those things really cheap. You can find all of the remote controls. This one has a remote control, basically a Bluetooth activator, so you can change from picture to video mode by Bluetooth remote. You can mount it to your bike, you can mount it to a helmet. You've got all kinds of strap and cable mounts, and then you can go quickly onto any website and find all kinds of extras that are very inexpensive, that would accommodate SURFOLA, you know, in a lot of different things. Could you use SURFOLA as a dash cam? Yeah, it actually has loop recording and all those things where you could just temporarily mount it as a dash cam. These guys have a lot of experience as dash cam people. Would I mount a Canon on the dashboard of my car? No, not in a million years. So I mean, they're both user-friendly for the things that they're really good at. Like I said, save money. So are you saving money? Are you getting usable footage? Could you use this footage for something really quick? Could you get a B-roll shot with a little SURFOLA camera, and then of course if it survives whatever you're trying to get it to do, could you mount it to a drone? Those things, you know, things that would challenge it, but you know, if you're afraid that this could crash today and I don't want to break my really expensive camera, so all those things in consideration, SURFOLA may be a choice that you might want to make. There's a lot of different choices when it comes to action cameras, though, in the inexpensive category. So, you know, that's where you as a consumer are going to have to make a decision. But side by side, do they compare? You know, can you compare the two? I don't know, because I haven't seen the footage yet, but I think I know the answer already. But it's still fun, isn't it? So SURFOLA is a choice that you can make. So check it out, check out their site, look at some of the other options that they have. I have actually used the dash cams for this, and they do have a really decent image sensor. They're very standardized at this point because of the price point. So all right, for Dad Random, comparing expensive to cheap. Can you do it? All right, check out the footage and make a decision. But it's kind of fun, isn't it? later. Bye, Dad Random. Have a little fun, a little bit of inexpensive action camera, budget action camera versus the big dog. And yes, it's not fair. Life isn't fair. Bye. We'll want to use some external power because you might have to run the camera for maybe a couple of hours. So that's kind of why I would use that. But as far as toggling the modes, you basically can click through the modes. Here we go. Let's see. That's turning it off. As far as the modes, as far as toggling the modes, use the left button. There's photo mode, and there's your playback, video setup, and your photo setup. So right there, it's kind of a fast. Go ahead and click that again. And there's your photo setup. So you can change your image quality. It's in high right now. And then there's your photo resolution, and 24 megapixels is selected. I always keep it at its highest. So if I want to shoot photos, I want to keep it at the highest resolution. Not too bad. I've got some pretty good examples. So there's your ISO adjustment. It's in auto right now, but you can mess around a little bit with exposures. If you're going to do a long exposure in a darker place, you probably want to crank that ISO way up to 3200. So there's that. I'll just keep that basically where it's at. And so for those long exposures. So anyway, I think that's pretty much it. So for the SURFOLA, I would say most of these cameras are getting better. A lot of these companies have done a lot of work in the dash cam world. This one being no exception to that. So this was a dash cam at one time, and they just used the technology to get into the action camera world. So what do you think? Check out the video quality and let me know what you think. But there it is, SURFOLA.